What's up, guys? Some dickhead back at it. Today's episode of Messing Around with J Frosty. Okay, here's the project. One of my goofy friends is having a birthday. I'm gonna try to make one of those wheel bracket joints so you can set a wheel on it and turn it for building a three-piece wheel or whatever, and you don't have to like chase it across the floor. I stopped by the metal supermarket and picked up some scraps. I don't know what we're gonna use yet really, but probably most likely just this angle iron and probably one of these. Something like that, make a frame out of it. I think that's probably all it's gonna be realistically. Just weld it like that basically, cut some holes in here, duplicate it. But I like to grab extra parts and whatnot when I'm there, and this looked like an order that somebody got and left, and so that's a lot of very similar things. It might come in handy later. Just a couple more pieces too. It's always just nice to have, you know, material when you come up with an idea or need something in a bind. So I think that's all I really need out actually. And we'll see how it goes. So my plan is cut in half basically, cut this in half as well, make a box. And then Jeffrey Bezos personally dropped these off to me, which I thought was very kind of him. I asked him if he wanted to hang out. He said he did not want to be in the video because it was too cringy. And I think he's right. That makes sense. So these will go probably in the side ones, right? Something like that. And again, so you can set the wheel on top and turn it. So let's get these out of there. I'm on a little bit of a time crunch here too. This guy didn't let me know he's got a birthday, so I'm not sure how these work, honestly. It seems like it should be like a TP roll where like you press in one side, but it doesn't do that. So I think what I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna have to build them into it. That means that my length this way is already determined. It's gonna have to be about like that. I'm gonna have to put them in the thing first, which is gonna be problematic for when I paint it. But that's okay, we're gonna figure it out. They say it's the thought that counts, so if it actually works or not is less important. I've got some wheel parts here, I think. I thought I had some with no tires. Well, let's use this one. See what this looks like. Okay, so that's probably a generic wheel, right? It's a 15 by 8.5 maybe. This might give us a good idea how far apart the rollers need to be. So this is what I'll use as a template. This is a 15-inch wheel. All my friends use 15s, 15 by 8.5, yeah. So, fuck, what? Just get started? Damn, all right. Let me see, maybe I can hold these stationary. Hey, it's already coming in handy. So I don't want this yet because I want to be able to tell how far apart these need to be. This, I think for this, we're gonna want to have some measurements written down. Okay, let's see. So it's basically gonna be L-shaped brackets go this way. Then I'm gonna have single sheets going this way. Same deal again. Yes, exactly like this drawing. And then an L-shaped bracket going the other way. Okay, now I just need to figure out the measurements on that. Then I'm gonna need holes here, 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 and here. And let's start figuring it out. How far apart do these need to be? Are the tires resting on the table now? If it's at 11, will that be enough? Let's see. I'm thinking maybe go to 10. Have the holes 10 apart. That seems reasonable enough. That's 9.5. Let's go back to, yeah, I think so, 10 inches apart. Hold a hole. Let's see, what's that gonna do with the larger? We're maybe 10.5. 10.5 actually looks really good. So we'll go 10.5 from hole to hole. So from here to here, 10.5 inch. Same deal, 10.5. So how much more frame do I need past that? 2.5, 3 inches on each side. 3 inches on each side seems reasonable. So from here to there, 3 inches, and from here to there, 3 inches. That means my grand total 16.5 inch for my individual bars. So my flat bars, flat bar times 2, and then the width. And the width is already determined because these don't compress like they fucking should. So that's really 12.5. 12.5 is what it's gonna have to be, and I'm gonna have to put these in there when I assemble the fucking thing. So these are from here to here, 12.5 inches. And so flat bar times 2, 16.5, angle iron, 12.5 inch times 2. So that seems pretty straightforward. And I'm of the school of measure just one time and fuck it up, then do it again after. So I'm not gonna measure that again. I'm just gonna do it. Right? So let's see then. This says I need 2 16.5 inch pieces. Yeah. Think this is gonna suck or is it gonna work? I'm saying cast your vote. Does this get fucked up or does it work? Okay, let's see. Look at all these tools. How about it? Lots of numbers on them. I don't know what that shit means. Okay, so that's... I think let's just cut one and, well, no, that doesn't make sense. I'll just cut out the middle, 16 and what I say, a half. Yeah, the chance of it going well, if I'm already questioning the measurement, not ideal, but as you saw, I do have more metal. So the worst case scenario, I cut my hand off. I mean, worst case scenario, I have to cut another piece. All right, over here, what are we doing? We're gonna pop this off. This wheel is looking friggin' done. And we want chopping. You know what I bet we could do that would make some sense is to cut it all at once. And we could do that by measuring 120 grit. Nice. A gift for me, apparently. 60s. So measure the other things, what I was saying. Does that make sense to do? I guess. I can just cut all at one time. These we said 12.5, 12.5. I really should give that a second look. Make sure these numbers aren't just completely arbitrary. But something I say sometimes in these videos I've noticed, and that's that I just don't want to. That's right. It's good to me. Then I think I'll do the same thing here. I don't really have a good way to cut here in a way that is gonna stay really uniform. I just have the fucking angle grinder, and so I just fuck stuff up with that. I think ideally like a band saw would be a really good way to go, but I don't have one. And so I'm gonna rely on the cuts of whoever did have a band saw, it looks like, because those are probably much better than what I'll be able to do by hand. Okay, so that's everything. That's pretty simple. Let's just cut it. Eye protection, ear protection too. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, now let's get it. Yeah, it probably does make more sense to cut the short end off, but I'm mirroring what I just did. Okay, next. Well, shit. I think we're gonna have to do half of that cut on each side. About as much as I feel comfortable cutting off of there. We'll get this side. See if we can catch that. Actually, let's come over a little bit. Okay. Okay, I believe that's all of our pieces. So, what do we need to do now? Clean them up, measure them. Need to put a couple of holes in those side pieces. Should we try this 120? The friend of mine left these over here, so I appreciate that. I assume they're for me to use. All right, yeah, I'll just put this in here and kind of clean up the end so it doesn't look crazy. Wow. New cutting disc, fucking awesome. Look, for comparison, that's what I was using, so I don't think there's even any sandpaper left on that. That's awesome. Okay. So 2 like that, basically. It's gonna sit level. And then one of these should be cut already, so just the other end needs to be prettied up with the angle grinder. Something like that, goes like that, you know, pretty well. 2 holes, the rollers. I think actually I'm gonna have to, well, I guess I could just put it outside the box. That makes some sense there. That probably makes the most sense. Then I don't have to cut anything. I was gonna notch this basically so that this sat down and sat flush, but if I just put it side by side with it, that's essentially the same thing. Yeah, that's the move. Okay, that's pretty straightforward stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So the next thing I need to do is put some holes in this, in these 2. So let's get a feel for that. 10 and just 3 in, right? 3 inches in from each end. Maybe I should mock this up on the bench to see that it still makes sense before going too crazy. I think I will do that. I can see potentially now being the time at which I realize I've done something very stupid. So I'm just putting across, like, that's where I want the shit. That was 3 inches, right? Yeah, okay, so same deal. You can see this one is where I cut with the angle grinder and it's not straight. That sort of sucks. I think overall, that's not gonna be detrimental to this. It's just that it would be really nice to be able to cut perfectly straight. A bandsaw could do that. I will at one point get one. I just haven't found the right, one on Marketplace or whatever. What was I doing here? 3 inches in. Cranking it out, man. Trying to anyway. What I'd like to do ideally is get this painted, probably with Steel It. I think Steel It looks really cool. It's a product I saw on Hoonigan's like a long time ago when they were still making videos and stuff. I think it was the one where they made the bread truck, like the merch van or whatever. They were just casually talking about it and I was like, what is that? And I don't think that they were shelling the product, they just liked it. and I got a can and tried it, and I've stuck with it, man. That stuff rules. Okay, so those look the same to me. What I say, I'll mock it up. I think I will mock it up just to make sure that I'm not doing something horrendously wrong. I think I should be able to do this pretty simply, just kind of eyeballing it on the bench. Something like that, something like that. That looks like a box to me. Maybe it needs feet. This thing might need feet, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll put the big heavies in the corners to make sure it's actually square. Something like that, something like that. Yep, it's definitely a box. And then we'll just see, hopefully these fit. I think that looks about right. They sit here. The other one sits here, about like that. And well, it's just a mock-up, but it might actually hold the wheel without breaking. No, not at all. But I think that looks right. Yeah, I think go ahead and drill holes. So how big do the holes need to be? Well, they need to be big enough to have these things go in them. So how big is that? Oh shit. We're gonna measure them. What's that, a 12 millimeter hole probably would do it? I think so. Do I have a drill bit that big? I am actually thinking the answer to that is probably no. 10. Fuck. What have we here? 9/16. This is metric, I think, and that's to 12. So how about it? Okay, let's see. I want these sides. You know what I mean? Okay. So let's see if we can make some sense of this shit. I want this to go somewhere in that region. I think I like that right there. So tighten that down. Shit's not going anywhere. A little bit of cutting oil. Well, a lot of cutting oil. And get to it. That's right. So let's cut one hole, see if the roller will go in. Look at that smoke. Is that going to be enough? How about it? Okay, that's what we'll do. So 3 more times of that. I think I am pleased with that. All right, man. That's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool, man. That's a nice tool to have. All right, so I'm gonna clean these up with the angle. It looks like there's actually some in there too, so just real quick. Just smoothing them out, you know. Okay. All right. So now I think that to put it together here on the bench and get some tacking and welding. Do I need to sand these or can I just weld them right on? What do you think? Will I make a big nasty mess if I don't sand them? Yes or no? I can tell you I don't want to sand them, so let's try not sanding them. And if it comes out like shit, then we'll have learned something. Maybe I'll just do one side at a time. Makes the most sense. Let's do one corner at a time. Tack, probably, then come back and weld. So let's do it. And these are 1/8 inch now. Gas open. I'm gonna run this up to 20 and a little higher, so when I squeeze the trigger, it drops to 20. Somewhere in there. And then should be good to zap it on. We're trying to get this next one lined up to tack, and I'm really not feeling very comfortable with my ability to get it square without everything kind of mocked up. So I think I will go ahead and mock it up basically just completely and try to get it square as best I can. Doesn't have to be that precise, but I would like it to be, you know, nice to use, not just a piece of crap. Not perfect by any means. That's kind of a big gap there. The rollers are, of course, here. I think let's put them on. Start making this thing an actual product, you know what I mean? Yeah, hell yeah. Now, this side is not ideal, man. This corner I don't like that much. I mean, what is the deal with this? I think I can almost see that that's not straight. Here, I was giving all this praise to band saws. I think we got to take a little bit off of that. It's good to have paint all over it too, right? Okay, that's better. That's good enough. Yeah, bud. Yeah, buddy. I think now we kind of got it doing what we want. I'll go ahead and tack these corners. So, okay, yeah, I can pretty well say that from tacking that not cleaning those up is likely to make a big mess. They're just a little bit too splattery. It should be clean and it isn't. So I guess that's the difference. But it's okay, it's gonna work and it's gonna be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and tack this corner. And I think after that, I think we should be in a good place to just weld it up. And then maybe I'll try to clean off the ugliness after if possible, but maybe not, we'll see. Imperfections will certainly show that I made it. But let's go ahead and get this final corner on. So there it is, tacked together. It's pretty ugly, you know, but it is hopefully functional. Yeah, that's fine. So I think what I'll do is shut the fuck up and I'll just weld it, and then I'll show you what happened after that. So yeah, let's get some welds on it. Change of plans there. You can't weld that shit. It's too nasty. So I'm gonna have to sand down to get a clean surface and weld that. I was really hoping I could just weld it, but it's gonna be a little more time consuming. I think all I gotta do is get a little bit of bare metal and it should be fine, but this project's taking a little longer than I wanted to spend tonight. Maybe I'll weld this and that. Back and forth, sanding, welding, sanding, welding. This is probably the ugliest one. I don't know about that one. Okay. I wish I could take these off, but I can't. Okay, so now to weld. Okay, so there it is. Some of these corners are much prettier than others. Let's start with the ugliest first, which is this one. That looks like shit. That's insane. That's pretty enough. That looks okay. That looks okay. A little bit of both. And I like the look of that one, okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool enough. Looks like I got a little tack in the corner on that one and none of the others. But I don't know. Whatever, it's fine. So let's get sanding on these and just make sure that they look good for what they are. And I'll use that 120 grit, that same one, and I'll probably tear that up because these are going to be hot and I don't want to wait for them to cool down. I'm just impatient in that regard. So let's get to that. Enough like a corner to me. And let's see if I can get this one to look this good. That's definitely not perfect, but it is absolutely good enough for what I'm doing. That one's going to be ugly. I honestly don't know what to make of this one. I think I'll just try to get it kind of clean and, well, not clean obviously, but I don't want to take away too much of the material and make it sit like not flush and wobble around. So I think I'll just take it down to this side one and let this be kind of wonky. Now this is the bottom, so it'll be all right. And for what it looked like, that's not that bad. That was a dirty one. And that's where we learned a valuable lesson that these pieces of metal should be cleaner than they were when I did it. Now that looks better. That looks like shit, but this one looks okay. I like that a lot, actually. And let's see, is this the last one? Yeah, so that's that. I think it's pretty well what we set out to have it look like. Definitely some shady stuff that sucks a little bit, but overall not too bad. I think I could have been more cautious about where I put tacks. I didn't need to tack in places that would be visible. I wish these rollers would contract. That way they wouldn't have scarring on them. That's obviously not something you want on your wheel. So I'll probably spend a little time to get those off of there before handing it over. But overall, you know, not bad. I know there's ones that contract, and so I'll probably do that going forward. And I know that there's ones with polyurethane as well, and so I'll almost definitely do that over this metal. I sanded a little of the sides in preparation for paint. I want to paint it with Steelite, and I assume that putting the paint right on top of this sucks. It probably doesn't stay very well. And also, if you could take these out, then you could paint it without having to tape them up. And I'm gonna have to tape them up and I don't want to. So let's see if it works. There you have it. You can work on your wheels. Well, they say it's the thought that counts. What is that, alignment or what? Do I just not have it on there right? Seems to be walking towards me, right? Well, maybe it's camber wear. Oh, okay, well, there you have it. All right, so anyway, I think what I'll try to do now is tape these up, and I would like to get paint on it tonight. Got a kind of a short window before I have to say, here's your birthday gift. And so there's no reason to dick around. Let's see, bullshit gaff or painters. I guess since I'm painting, painters makes sense. Oh, fuck. Sorta. I really wish these could come out, but it's fine. Everything's great. We're having a good time. Okie doke. That's good enough for me. All right, so I really think I should sand this shit off, but I just don't want to. So pretty heavy on it. Maybe a one coat type deal. Ah, fuck. So I suppose that's that for tonight. We did what we set out to do. I will revisit this thing tomorrow and see what it looks like. So steel to make it look beautiful. And then I want to make some sticker to go on the side. He's got a brand created, and so I'll make a sticker with his logo, and that'll be that. A happy birthday. That's basically what I had in mind for the sticker on the side. That's 10 inches long, 2 inches tall, and I should be able to fit 4 of them on a 8.5 by 11 sheet. I think I'm just gonna do 2. That gives me a couple to screw up. So I'll print those off with high gloss sticker paper, cover it with a laminate to protect the ink. So I'll print these off. Anyway, that's the general idea behind the logo. Full love. Yeah, they didn't come out too bad. I got 3 out of 4, and I only really want 2. I'm gonna go on the front here, like that. I thought I tested them and they fit, but I guess, oh well. Shit. I actually do think I want to take a little bit more off so that they fit better. But I guess I'll go ahead and clean this thing, see what I actually have here. Might have to hit these with a little polish or something, make them shiny again. And then one of these on each side. Trim these and then apply them. Started with 4, down to 2. This one proportion sort of got weird. I trimmed off the top and the bottom the same amount, but it's kind of weird. So I just cut off the top on these, and that seems like it's just about right. I think that's going to be okay. Pretty much. I think so. Let's go with that. We're gonna stick it on here. No bubbles. Yeah, that's cool. Sure, why not? Not perfect, but literally nothing about this thing is, so that's gonna be okay. That looks great. Let's see if I can get a little polish on these and get these to look a little better. What do we got? Mothers. There we go. The chemical guys. Yeah, that's cleaning up. I think that's about the size of it. So there you have it. Is it the awesomest possible? No. Will it work? Yes. And will it make a happy birthday gift? I hope so. I probably will make more of these. There's rollers that have polyurethane. I have a couple of those coming, and then a friend of mine mentioned to put feet on it so it sits up, and I think that makes sense. I have feet coming as well, but I don't think any of that stuff will be here in time to happy birthday it. So this is V1. Thanks for checking it out. See ya.